Hey everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. I'm Steve Hall. This is your Liverpool news update here on Monday, February 19th. Hope all is well wherever you are. Yes, it's going to be a very injury-heavy show. Unfortunately, having a little look at where we're at in terms of the recovery of the likes of Jota, Jones, Darwin Nunez as well. A little bit on Mo Salah from Egypt. So yeah, there's what we're going to... Not exactly the best news show in terms of feeling good, although we should all still feel good. Liverpool are, of course, top of the league. They've got a cup final on the horizon as well. Manchester City dropped points the other day, which is never a bad thing either. So yeah, loads and loads to be good, feeling good about. But unfortunately, there are some injuries that we have to speak about. Let's start with obviously with Diogo Jota. Then, according to reports in Portugal, Jota's knee injury they've ruled out the worst case scenario of his season being over yet. Record, this is via the guys at This Is Anfield, say 2 months is the prognosis on Diogo Jota. Reportedly, he might have damaged his PCL. Paul Gorst of the Liverpool Echo has also reported that Liverpool are hopeful to have him back before the end of the season, and that the initial worry of an ACL injury has been ruled out. So obviously it isn't that, which is the positive news, of course. Now, 2 months is still a big blow for Liverpool at this stage of the season. Of course, it rules Jota out, of course, of the final, but plenty more games. 2 months from today, you're talking mid-April. Yeah, so you're coming right into the business end of the season in terms of the fixture list. Liverpool at that point in time, if he came back, say if it was exactly 2 months from today, so you're talking, April 19th, that would be, just checking the fixture list now, Jota would be back maybe in some capacity for the last maybe 4 league games of the season, give or take, plus any cup games that Liverpool might still be in at that stage, depending on how things go in the FA Cup and in the Europa League as well. But yeah, it does look like we're still waiting the official, of course, confirmation on Jota's injury. I'm guessing we won't get that till Jurgen speaks at the press conference on Tuesday. But the reports in Portugal, obviously, that they were reporting on it from a Portuguese national team angle, where there were initially some worries that he might miss the Europa League, the upcoming Euros for his national team. It seems like that probably won't be the case. But 2 months without Jota is, of course, a massive blow. As of today, that would see him miss Chelsea, Luton, Forest, City, Everton, Brighton, Sheffield United, Man United, Palace, probably Fulham, and then again, any other cup games that might come up between now and then as well, depending on how Liverpool do in the FA Cup. Definitely 2 Europa League games in there at the minimum. So plenty of time without Jota, unfortunately, from what's been it was a pretty innocuous one, really. Like I say, I saw some people blaming Brentford, like they injured them. It was a physical game. It wasn't really a foul. The way they landed on each other, it's just one of those things that kind of happens, really. But yeah, 2 months is the initial reporting on Jota's injury from Portugal, which, yeah, it's a huge blow for everybody, really. As Fish says here, Gakpo now got to step up to become a legend. Yeah, Liverpool are going to rely on Cody Gakpo more, of course. Now they're going to have to do that. Moving on to the next story from that game then, while we're speaking of forwards, is obviously Darwin Nunez was taken off at half-time. Jurgen Klopp confirmed after the game that Darwin felt a little something, and Liverpool didn't want to take any risks. Now, what that means for the next week or so, we'll find out again. I'm guessing it won't be until Jurgen's press conference again, but we'll see where we're at with Nunez, whether he's fit enough to go on Wednesday, whether they hold back, which they tend to do. Liverpool tend to be extra cautious. What that means for the cup final as well, don't know. Yet we'll have to see what it is and what the scans revealed that he's obviously gone for. Liverpool always will go send their players for scans as soon as they felt a little something. So no Jota, it looks like, for a while. Nunez is wait and see. And then it's the same, really, for Mohamed Salah. Egyptian sources say that Salah might miss the Luton game through injury as well. It says that Salah may have suffered an injury at the end of the game. Therefore, he might miss the Luton game. There's been reporting, of course, like hopefully not unserious. Salah obviously played a little bit more than Liverpool probably wanted him to, having to come on and replace Diogo Jota. It might just be a bit of fatigue, bit of cramping, and I think that's been mooted about as well a little bit. But yeah, it does look like at the moment Liverpool are a bit like the walking wounded, especially for this upcoming game against Luton and maybe the final. Now, as Jurgen Klopp said after the game, we'll find 11 fit players and we'll get them on the pitch and we'll give it a right go. And that's what Liverpool have tended to do this season. They tend to do that more often than not. They've dealt pretty well with the injuries. They are racking up now. If you pick Liverpool's best 11, there's a couple of lads who are in that. Who of course, who are missing at the moment. Adrian says here, can we get a quick tally of the players injured and the ballpark figure of returns? Jeez. So Alisson injured, don't know, of course. Liverpool haven't confirmed that. Hamstring, so who knows. Joel Matip out for the season, we know that. Trent Alexander-Arnold out until after the final. Maybe Forest, maybe Manchester City was the latest around Trent Alexander-Arnold's injury as well. Obviously Thiago out and Stefan Bacchetta out. No real time frames on either of those. And then obviously Jota, it looks like now maybe 2 months. And then we'll see where they're at with Nunez. And maybe anything with Salah. Obviously, there was talk that he had cramp at the end of the game, which would make sense. He's been out for a while and then forced back in. I'm pretty sure Liverpool didn't want him to be on that often. I'm guessing they had him lined up to play like half an hour, and needs must to get the job done, and it did get done. But yeah, that's what Liverpool are dealing with at the moment. On the injury front. The good news, of course, in recent weeks, like I say, Salah was on long term. Hopefully, whatever his issue is, it's nothing bad and he gets himself back in it. Kostas Tsimikas has just got back as well. Conor Bradley's now back available, of course. We saw that the weekend, as was Konate. So, yeah, the only one I've missed out there, I do apologise from Craig and Ellie. I've just mentioned Szoboszlai. So, last time they talked about Szoboszlai, of course, was that it was touch and go for the final, was what Jurgen said, but probably, maybe not. So again, he's another one. So yeah, there's a lot of players currently out for Liverpool and they're going to have to deal with it. And that's just what it is. They're going to have to crack on with it. They've still got enough players, especially with all due respect. Luton have been in good form, actually, and Luton they showed yesterday they can give a game to anybody. But if Liverpool put out a team of Kelleher, Van Dijk and Konate in front of him, any options of fullbacks from Gomez, Bradley, Robertson and Tsimikas. In midfield, Endo, McAllister, Elliott, Gravenberch are all still available, of course. Up front, Gakpo, Diaz, of course, as well. We'll see where they're at with Salah. It might be Elliott playing in a front three. It is what it is, but yeah, they're the ones that we're waiting on. And of course, Curtis Jones is the next one I'm going to speak about. The latest on Curtis Jones, again, this was from Sky. Jurgen said he felt something in his shin/ankle area. The fact that Curtis couldn't play on tells you something, because he would have played on at all costs. The latest, again, reporting, I think, is that he too's gone for a scan. So we're going to hang fire on what's up with Curtis Jones and how long he's out for. But again, the fact that he hobbled off, it wasn't great news, was it? So Liverpool are down a lot of key players there. If you think about the ones we know for a fact are out: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Curtis Jones, Diogo Jota. There's 4 straight away. Dom Szoboszlai, of course, 5 who you could easily say, in Liverpool's best 11. So it isn't ideal. Then you add on the other issues that we're talking about, the likes of the Jota stuff. Sorry, we don't know where we're at quite with Nunez, the Salah stuff in Egypt as well. It does feel a little bit all over the place. Dermot says, who do you think the front three will be at Luton? My guess, Gakpo and Diaz are definite. On the other side, it depends how Salah is. Obviously, Nunez, we're still waiting. I'd be shocked if either of them started, if I'm honest. So maybe Harvey Elliott on the right-hand side. That even someone like a Ben Dokes out injured, he's not even available. So if you're looking at the young options, it's like a Cade Gordon, who's played a little bit of first-team football, of course. Jayden Danns is having a really good season at youth levels, but I don't see that, to be honest with you. My guess would be Harvey Elliott would start on the right of a 3. Gakpo up front, Diaz on the left. Maybe a midfield, something like Enzo, McAllister, Gravenberch, maybe something along those lines. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes on. But it's it's one of those, yeah, Liverpool going to have to just crack on and get on with it. That's just actually what it's going to be, because they've got Luton to play, haven't they, on Wednesday, so they are where they are, and they're going to have to deal with the facts that what these injuries are. But yeah, it's been a bit of a bad week for the last couple of weeks for Liverpool on the injury front. Obviously, just before Burnley, losing Alisson, losing Alexander-Arnold. Just before that, of course, Szoboszlai still out, and then the added issues that they got against Brentford as well. They're gonna have to grin and bear, like Jürgen said. They're gonna have to find solutions and find ways. Ironically, it's a bit different than a few years ago when Liverpool ran out of defenders. They've actually, the defence issue, touch wood, they're okay in terms of numbers at the back. They've got 4 options at centre-back and 3.5, depending on, I mean, it's 4/3.5 at each, depending on what you class Joe Gomez as. But, you know, Van Dijk, Konate, Kwanzaa and Gomez as your 4 centre-back options. Tsimikas, Robertson, Bradley, and then, of course, Gomez again at full-back. So the options are there for Liverpool at the back. Obviously, they've got Keith Kelleher in goal. In front of them, it's getting a little bit stretched, obviously, in midfield now with the issues they've got there. And then added to that, what they've got in the forward line as well. Liverpool are running on empty a little bit on the tank. So, especially, you know, Chelsea have got a 3 game week going into that final. And of course, Liverpool do play Luton, which, again, that's came about, hasn't it, really, because of Chelsea's lack of European football. Liverpool's European commitments post the final mean that there was no other midweek option, so they've gone for this week. But now, of course, it's feeling like a bit of a, it's going to be a tough week for Liverpool to get themselves through it. It might usually you'd want to rest and rotate ahead of a final. There aren't too many options. That's why I think full-back and centre-back are 2 places Liverpool can rest and rotate. So I wouldn't be massively surprised if Kwanzaa plays in midweek, and maybe he changes both full-backs and he goes something like Gomez and Kostas Tsimikas, just to keep, that is one area of the team he's able to freshen up. Everywhere else in front, it's not, you know, like, they are running out of options. There's not too much going on in front of them. So we're going to have to find out where they're at. But yeah, Suman says here, maybe this as an 11 for Wednesday. Kelleher, Bradley, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Robbo, Endo, McAllister, Gravenberch, Elliott, Gakpo, Diaz. Yeah, potentially, yeah, Kate Gordon on the bench, that kind of stuff. Luton's a tough game. They've shown recently against the big guns that they're no pushovers, are they? They're a good team. Someone asked about Ben Doak. Ben Doak's out as well. So he got injured as well. So he's another long-term absentee. So yeah, Liverpool are feeling the pinch a little bit of where they're at in the season at this moment in time. And they're going to have to just try and get through it as best they can. Obviously, after the final, they play Southampton a week on Wednesday. And I wonder if that's a game where, you know, you don't throw games, of course, but maybe 1 or 2 extra youngsters get a game. Maybe, you know, James McConnell played in the FA Cup last round. Maybe he gets another go against Southampton. You know, Bobby Clark might come into contention there as well. That might be one where Kate Gordon, Jayden Danton, all these guys come into contention. But yeah, Liverpool they've got to get through the next one. Juiced Up says, Gucci'd Up rather, is it? Says, Steve, can you confirm you have no niggles? I mean, everything hurts at my age when I get out of bed, so I can't confirm I haven't. I make funny noise, my knee clicks every time I stand up. But yeah, listen, if they need me to go and do a job, I'm more than willing to do it. I don't know where I'd be best placed. I'd like to think maybe somewhere in the middle of the park, just spraying passes and kicking people. I can do that. But yeah, I can't confirm I've got no niggles, because I'm in my mid-30s, mid to late 30s actually now, I guess, when I'm getting it. Aren't you 40? I mean, that's harsh, Mike. No, I'm not 40. I'm just bald. I'm 36. And I feel every bit 46 though. Yeah, as Moby Dan says, Liverpool's bench will be for the kids for a while. Yeah, I reckon it's going to be a very youthful looking bench. If you look at the bench the other day, to be honest with you, you know, Tsimikas, Kwanzaa and McConnell were the subs who didn't come on. Gakpo, of course, Salah got off the bench, Gravenberch got off the bench. So Liverpool's bench looked good for the weekend. It's going to go back to being a little bit hit and miss for the Luton game. And we saw Luton, like I say, to give Liverpool a game. Liverpool need a 90 odd minute equalisers at their place. Their away form's different, of course, and they've just come off the back of a difficult game against United. So we'll see how they react on Wednesday as well. They obviously played a day later than Liverpool, so they've got less time to recover, and it was a very intense game for them, so we'll see how they go. But yeah, it isn't great on the injury front at the moment for Liverpool, is it? The good news is, of course, they're flying in the league, the top of the league. They got the win but it did come as a cost. So yeah, Jota, I'll be honest, and I said this, go back to the start of the show with Jota, I think 2 months is about as best case as you were going to get, having seen what happened to him with the way his knee jarred. It didn't look great at all. If it is PCL 2 months, I think that might be best case scenario, unfortunately. Which is, it's a shame really, but yeah, it could have been. It looked like it could have been a lot worse. It looked like a bit of a Joel Matip situation, ACL, where it's a massive one. Now 2 months is still significant, of course. And then the rest of them, there's no real time frames on. Obviously, Liverpool will keep this close to their chest as long as they can. There's no immediate rush on Curtis Jones in particular, but how Darwin is, if Salah's okay, because he had a little bit of cramps and whatever, fatigue, Jürgen, of course, will let us know at the press conference. But yeah, the Jota one's a blow. It really is. 2 months out is, that's probably minimum. That again, that isn't even confirmed yet. That's from Portugal. We'll see again when Klopp speaks at his press conference, but that's a significant blow for Liverpool because Jota, player of the month for January in the Premier League, scoring goals and assists for fun, gets another assist, of course, the weekend before he goes off. I thought he was fantastic when he started that game. So it's a huge blow for him. But yeah, this is what happens. Sometimes Liverpool are going to just have to go and try and grin and bear it, get through Luton, and then get yourself. Listen, in terms of the Premier League is still the priority, of course. There's a final to be won and stuff like that, but Liverpool have got Luton on the 21st. They don't then play again in the Premier League till the 2nd. They've got to be the priority. Getting 3 points on Wednesday and then getting 3 points against Nottingham Forest and then Manchester City. The final, it almost takes care of itself a little bit in that regard. And then next Wednesday against Southampton, you do whatever needs to be done. You don't throw competitions, of course you don't, but if you've got to rest and rotate in that game, then go for it. It is what it is. If you lose because you play a team of kids, I think it's not the end of the world. Of course, you don't want to lose games, but if that's what it has to be to look after people, so be it. But yeah, Liverpool need to get through Wednesday as best they can and get as many lads back fit as they can for that Forest game. The Chelsea game is what it is. Like, you don't really want to take any risks. I know it's a final, and but you don't want to take too many risks in it, given that we're in a Premier League title race, given what happened to City at the weekend as well. It's almost like Luton and Forest become the priorities over the cup final, which is just where it is. It just is what it is. Like I say, I don't want to lose to Chelsea, but I don't think Liverpool would want to take any massive risks in any of those games, because the last thing they need is more players. Because what happens when you get injuries is that you overplay players and then they get injured and it becomes a vicious circle. So Jürgen, Pep, Peter Kravic, they're all going to have to manage this squad really well throughout the next couple of weeks until they get some of these back. I think Szoboszlai of the longer term ones, Jürgen said maybe the final, which makes you think maybe he's not too far away. If it's not Chelsea, then obviously they keep an eye on him maybe for a little run out against Southampton with an eye on playing against Forest. But yeah, it's tough sledding, isn't it? It really is tough sledding. So they're the latest on the news updates. Like I say, Jürgen Klopp does have his press conference ahead of the Luton game Tuesday. I think it's scheduled for lunchtime tomorrow, so keep an eye out on that. We'll get more confirmation on this. But yeah, in the meantime, thanks so much for joining us for the show. In just over an hour's time, Paul and the gang will be live with the Redmen Originals podcast as well. So do go and check that out. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow when we know, hopefully, some better news on these injury updates. I'll see you all tomorrow.
Hey, thank you so much for checking out the content today. If you want to get your name in and amongst these wonderful people, then head to redmenplus.com. Join as a Legend tier subscriber. You're going to get free merchandise codes. You're going to get in our Discord, and you're going to get your name at the end of YouTube videos. Yes, redmenplus.com, Legend tier status.